Did you know that Planet Kerwan is an anagram of or that Planet Damosel might have the most screwed up meaning in the entire series, depending on your interpretation? Well, ladies and degenerates, stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to be attempting to go over every planet and location in the original PS2 Ratchet Clank trilogy, and trying to decipher the meaning behind all of their names. Every single one. Trust me, it's gonna be fun. So, what are we waiting for? Yes, believe it or not, fellas, Insomniac has quite the quirky naming convention that the devs have utilized throughout the entire series. And guess what? The names of the planets themselves are no different. They're made up from a whole bunch of puns, anagrams, irony, and more. So like I said before, I'll be going over each planet in the original trilogy one by one. If you're curious about the planets seen in the future games, such as Tools of Destruction, A Crack in Time, Rift Apart, etc., then let me know in the comments below. But let's not waste any more time. I jump right into the planet names of Ratchet 1. For Veldin, it is comprised of the word Veld, which is Afrikaans for field. Pretty fitting and sneaky, Insomniac. Novalis seems to be derived from the word novice, since Novalis is the first actual proper level of the game, after the short prologue planet that was Veldin. As I spoil in the first few seconds of the video, Kerwan is an anagram of my land's fabled insult of wanker. What's funnier is when you realize that this is the planet where Ratchet and Clank first go in order to find Captain Quark, who is a wanker. Aridia is pretty simple. Arid is an actual word that means dry, particularly used in the context of terrain that is too dry or barren to support vegetation, aka a desert. And, well, Aridia is a desert planet. Eudora is perhaps taken from the word eucalyptus, which is a tree species. Pretty blatant now that I pointed it out, huh? A nebula is an actual real thing. In simple terms, it's a space cloud. And since the blog station is up in outer space, yeah. The beginning of Rilgar's name could perhaps be taken from the word thrill, which would be a reference to the hoverboard races. Umbris is a combination of two words, unbridled and hubris. This planet is where Quark betrays Ratchet and Clank, being arrogant enough to just sick the Blodgy and Snagglebeast after the duo, instead of ensuring himself that they were finished off, thus showing his unbridled hubris. Battalia is one of the easier ones. Battalia is taken from the word battalion, which would be referencing the battalion leader and soldiers that you encounter and help upon touching down on the planet. Also, the duo temporarily joins it to help stop the invasion in progress.
Add attention, you deserting maggots! The next time you soldiers try to go AWOL, I'll shoot you myself!
Look, I just want to
Zip it, worm!
Okay, this one is also piss easy. Gas is literally in the name. However, an alternative interpretation is that it could be a pun on Gasper, as in someone realistically coughing up because of all of the fumes that a volcanic planet like this would be emitting. Either way, both fit the volcanic theme. A pretty funny one. This is an ironic nod to the word oxygen, which is obviously funny because... Pokitaru comes from the word pokai, which is Hawaiian for to gather. Fitting for such a comfy looking resort. Another ironic name, as it comes from the word oven, and, well, look around you. Pretty hot an oven like that. Okay, this one I'll admit that I'm still pretty unsure on. Gemlik is an actual real place in Turkey, but I honestly can't see the connection. Maybe it's just an original name? Okay, this one's going to require a bit of explaining. I believe that Altanis is named after Atlantis, a fictional island that was once prosperous. Altanis was too. Until greed caused it to sink under the sea. Drek stole the power generators. And become a lost city that was in ruins. Any of this sounding familiar to Border City ruins yet? What supports this interpretation is that Clank, due to the constant storm that the planet is undergoing, is unable to leave the ship, making the planet uninhabitable for him, the exact same way Atlantis is uninhabitable for humans. Quartu is comprised of the word quart, which is a unit of measurement, typically used for liquids. So how does this link to the robot factory? Well, in an industrial sense, quart represents volume, bulk, or quantity, things you'd associate with mass production. And since Quartu is the planet responsible for Clank's creation, alongside the mass magnitudes of mechs and sentry bots, now you can see the connection, eh? If you pronounce Calibo 3 as Calibo, you get the word caliber. And since this is the home planet of Gadgetron's HQ, what better planet name would there be to describe the vendor with the highest caliber in the Solana galaxy? Both Drex Fleet and Velden 2 are self-explanatory. It's just Drex Fleet, and I've already described what Velden means. And those are the meanings of every planet in Ratchet 1. We're not pumping the brakes yet though, my friends, because we're gonna move on to... Aranos comes from the word aero, which is used to refer to things in the air, which, both times you visit the planet, have you pee at. Easy. Oozla comes from ooze, referencing the swampy and mucky terrain that the planet has you traverse through. Similarly to Kerwan from Ratchet 1, it seems to be a half-reverse rearrangement of the word tarmac, which refers to the material used for servicing roads and outdoor areas. I believe this is supposed to reference that since this is where Ratchet finds out that Angela Cross, or as we know her as the Thief, captures Clank, this is where the duo's real story and adventure begin. The rough nature of tarmac could also hint at the similarly rough conditions of the featured arena that you can participate in. Endako sounds a hell of a lot like the word endearing, which kind of makes sense here. This is where Ratchet and Clank's apartment is within their stay in the Bogon Galaxy. And the level features these cute, but also quite dangerous, robots that will investigate and attack all entities that dare to pollute the environment with so much as litter on the ground. Endako is definitely endearing, alright? Barlow could be a reference to two things. Tom Barlow, who is an artist that worked at Insomniac, or perhaps, once again, another half-reverse rearrangement, which would result in Low Bar. Since this is the planet featuring an abandoned Gadgetron HQ, since Megacorp chased them out of business in the Bogon Galaxy, this fits, as Gadgetron in Bogon was a low bar compared to Megacorp. With Gadgetron still superior, fight me! Okay, I'll admit it, I have no idea what this one is supposed to be. Felsen sounds awfully German, but I don't have a lead. If you've got an idea for what this one is supposed to be, let me know in the comments. Pretty blatant pun on no tack. And considering the chaos on the streets, yeah. Siberia! Enough said. Another sneaky little nod to a real-life location. Turns out, Tabora is a real place, and it's a mining area in Tanzania. And, let's face it, you're effectively mining for crystals on this planet for the most part. So this is pretty fitting. Another one I'm not sure about. All I've got is Dobro Island, but it doesn't really connect well to the Megacorp testing facility here. Oh well, this one is sadly still a mystery. Joba sounds an awful lot like the word jobber, which is used to describe someone who is meant to lose. And since this is the planet housing the Megacorp Games, another arena, everyone here is meant to lose to Ratchet. Or, well, you, the player. Kurugis looks like an anagram of sorts, but I haven't had any luck in decoding this one. God damn, Bogon, you're really not making this easy for me, huh? Todano, if you slow down the pronunciation of it, sounds like to do now, which would link to this being the location of the Megacorp Armory, where urgency would undoubtedly be required. Boldan is a twist of Bolden, as this is where the duo discover the fake Fizz Widget robot, as well as where they get captured by the Thugs for Less leader back to planet Aranos. It symbolizes how Captain Quark, who is disguised as Fizz Widget, is getting bolder with his aggressive strategies towards Ratchet and Clank. Gorn sounds a lot like Horn, because this is where you fight the Thugs fleet. It all rubs in how Thugs for Less is becoming a persistent horn in the duo's backside. Snivelac is comprised of the word sniveling, which is honestly perfect for the planet housing the Thugs for Less HQ, as well as where you fight their leader once more in that utterly infuriating bullet sponge of a robot. Let's just move on before I slam near a surface. Smog comes from the word smoldering, which is referring to all the proto-pets in storage that is ready to be shipped out to the various planets in the Bogon Galaxy. In other words, the proto-pets are a smoldering threat. On this planet, they're not a threat. Yet. Oh boy, this one! This planet's name is probably the most fucked up in the entire series depending on your interpretation. The most obvious one, and possibly the intended meaning, is Damsel, as in damsel in distress. Perfect for describing how the planet has been utterly overrun by the protopets. But the second interpretation is... damn us all. And considering the city you're in is called All Gone City, as in all gone, holy shit. Someone at Insomniac must have been feeling like evil incarnate when they came up with this planet's name. Alright, time for a name that's more lighthearted. Grelbin is a clear play on Gremlin, which would reference the snow beast yeti found in this level that will kick your ass! Yeedle both sounds like and is an anagram for yield, referencing the Megacorp HQ, as well as the final boss of Going Commando, the giant mutated protopet. Simple. Phew! Still can't pump the brakes just yet, because we've got one more game to go. So let's finish this off with... Alright, let's finish this. All the way back in the homely Solana Galaxy. Oh, and I obviously won't go over the returning Ratchet 1 planets since I've covered them in the Ratchet 1 section already. Those being Veldin, Relgar, Kerwan, and Iridia. Another piss-easy name to decipher, obviously comes from flora and fauna, blatantly fitting this jungle planet. A phoenix symbolizes rebirth, renewal, and hope, which is pretty fitting for what effectively amounts to the main hub of the game, and the main ship where Ratchet, Clank, and the Galactic Rangers are stationed. An amalgamation of two specific words, originating from the real-life planet Mars and Utopia. The colour of Marcadia's surface also resembles Mars too. Self-explanatory. Arena fights and deadly obstacle courses. Moving on. Also easy. Aquatos is comprised of the word aqua, which means water. A bit of a mouthful, but it plays on the Tyrannoid race that most players should be awfully familiar with by this point, and is combined with the word tuberculosis. Also pretty fitting, considering this is a war-torn, effectively disease-ridden world filled to the brim with these bastards. Dax is a pretty common generic sci-fi name. Not much else to say for this one, really. This is a pretty clear nod to the two moons that this level has you traverse through, as Gemini is associated with the idea of twins. No clue what the Obani part means though, but after a quick search on Google, it's most likely made up. Another clear reference, but this time it's in universe. Holostar is made up from holofilm, which is what movies are called in the Ratchet and Clank universe, by the way, and Star, both of which being an obvious nod to Secret Agent Clank, or just Clank's acting career. Draco is Latin for dragon, both of which symbolize strength, danger, and deception, which is exactly what Courtney Gears is, as this is the planet you fight her on. Pretty much the exact same deal as with the Felton system in Going Commando. Sounds German, and I've tried my best, but still can't determine what this is supposed to mean. Viewers, this might be where you come in. Again. This is the planet where the duo discover Captain Quark's escape pod after he fakes his own death. Since Quark is running away from his responsibilities and supposed acts of heroism like a child, perhaps the planet's name is supposed to reference children? Kerwan is Northern Irish slang for someone who is stubborn or pig-headed, which is exactly what Captain Quark is once Ratchet and Clank find him, as they reprimand and encourage Quark respectively, so he can finally act like the hero he keeps trying to present himself as. Poros is likely in reference to the word porous, as this is where the duo obliterates Dr. Nefarious's first bio-obliterator model, which, if you phrase it poetically, would be Ratchet and Clank destroying Nefarious's instrument of destruction. Our final stop, and this one is kinda clever. Mylon is pretty much just the word pylon with an M. And why is a pylon? A tall metallic structure that is used for carrying electricity cables high above the ground, aka power. Planet Mylon is a command center, where Dr. Nefarious intended to use and take off with the second and final bio-obliterator. In other words, the entirety of the planet is a tall metallic structure that is acting as a carrier for power. Again, pretty clever. And that, ladies and degenerates, is almost every single planet name in the original Ratchet and Clank trilogy decoded. This was a fun little thing to work on when I started realizing that a lot of the planets had these hidden meanings and humor behind it. So what was once just a casual, "oh, that's pretty cool," comment from me, turned into this whole ass investigation. But you know what? Again, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you all have some more context as to the planet names now that you have before. Not gonna drag this out, so now I just gotta quickly do the YouTuber statement. If you enjoyed this video and perhaps would like to see me cover more of the planets in the series, let me know. And if you don't want to potentially miss out on that, game challenge runs, game analysis videos, or even more Ratchet and Clank content, then you better subscribe pronto. Until then, I'll catch you all in the next upload. Laters!